It's November 2022. All over the world, people are opening an app called FTX and pressing one button over and over. Withdraw. They want their money out. All of it. In 72 hours, they ask for about $6 billion. The money isn't there. No one hacked FTX. No thief broke in at night. Every missing dollar walked out the front door. Slowly, quietly, and with permission. More than $8 billion of customer money was simply gone. So, here's the question this video answers. Where did $8 billion go? And how did nobody notice for 3 whole years? And one more thing, because it's the strangest part. The people who lost that money would one day get paid back, every dollar, and it still would not be enough. We'll get to why. To understand how big this is, you have to understand how safe FTX looked. It was a place to buy and sell digital coins like Bitcoin. Think of it like an online bank for crypto. At its highest point, people said the whole company was worth about $32 billion. Its founder was a young man named Sam Bankman-Fried. Cargo shorts, messy hair, always looking like he just rolled out of bed. Newspapers called him the good one, the honest face of a wild new business. So regular people trusted him, millions of them, in more than 200 countries. Teachers, nurses, college students, they moved their savings onto FTX because it felt like the grown-up choice, the safe one. They were told their money was sitting there, waiting, ready whenever they wanted it. That was not true. And the reason it wasn't true starts 3 years earlier, with a single line of typed instructions. It's the summer of 2019. FTX is brand new. Here's the promise every customer got. If you traded with borrowed money and started losing, the FTX computer would step in on its own and sell your coins before you ever dropped below zero. It protected everyone. It was the main rule. Nobody could take out more than they actually had. On July 31st, 2019, that rule got a secret exception. 2 of Sam's engineers added a small flag to the code. In plain words, the flag said this: "This one account is allowed to go below zero. It can take out more money than it has, and the computer will never stop it." That one account belonged to Alameda Research, a separate trading firm that Sam also owned. Same boss, 2 companies. And now one of them could reach straight into FTX and pull out money that wasn't its own. The very same day that code went in, Sam wrote online that Alameda played by the exact same rules as everyone else. One of his own engineers would later stand in a courtroom and say, under oath, that this was not true. So, picture what FTX really was now. Millions of customers, all following one strict rule, and one customer, hidden from view, quietly allowed to break it. That exception is the whole story. Everything that comes next is just that one gap getting wider and wider. And to see how wide, you have to follow the money into a place almost nobody knew existed. When you put dollars into FTX, where did they actually go? For a long time, they didn't go to FTX at all. Banks were nervous about crypto. So in the early days, FTX had no bank account of its own. So customer dollars were sent instead to a bank account owned by Alameda, Sam's other company. In 2020, Sam had his team set up a brand new company just to catch those deposits. Its name gave away nothing. It was called North Dimension, and court papers say the name was chosen on purpose, so no one could tell it was connected to Alameda. So the money customers believed was safe inside FTX was really being poured into Alameda's pot. And Alameda was spending it. Every dollar it spent was a dollar of customer money that wasn't there anymore. So, how do you hide a hole that big? You put it somewhere no one thinks to look, of course. Inside FTX's own records, the giant debt that Alameda owed was parked under a plain, forgettable label. An internal account named, of all things, fiat at ftx.com. It looked like a boring piece of the computer system, not a company that owed billions. And that's exactly what made it perfect. It hid the debt in plain sight. And the borrowing limit, the amount Alameda was allowed to pull from FTX, just kept climbing. It started at $1 billion. Then it grew to a size one engineer described this way in court. They picked a number so huge it could never be reached. That number was $65 billion. By 2022, billions of dollars of customer money had drained into Alameda, hidden behind a boring label, and on the surface, everything still looked calm. All it would take to bring the whole thing down was for one person to point at the pile and ask a simple question out loud. November 2nd, 2022. A news website called CoinDesk publishes a story about Alameda's finances. Buried inside it is a strange fact. A huge chunk of what Alameda claimed to own wasn't real money or ordinary savings. It was a coin that FTX had invented itself, called FTT. In plain words, FTX's sister company was holding itself up with coins its own family had printed. If people ever stopped believing in that coin, the whole tower could fall. 4 days later, the most powerful man in crypto did exactly that. On November 6, the head of a rival company called Binance posted that he was going to sell off every one of these FTT coins that he owned. It was like the biggest depositor in town announcing he was pulling out. Panic spread in minutes. And then it became a run. Everyone tried to pull their money out at once, but the money was inside Alameda, already spent on bets and buildings. It couldn't come back. In about 3 days, customers asked for roughly $6 billion. And at one point, the amount of Bitcoin left inside FTX reportedly dropped to almost nothing. On November 11, 2022, FTX gave up. It told a court that it could no longer pay what it owed. And that's what going bankrupt means. Sam stepped down, and a new man walked in to run the wreck. A lawyer named John Ray, whose entire career was cleaning up broken companies. He had helped clean up Enron, one of the biggest company collapses in American history. He thought he had seen everything. He hadn't. Inside, John Ray found a $32 billion company that kept its books like a tiny corner shop. It tracked its money using simple software meant for small businesses. Some company spending was approved by workers just posting little emoji reactions in a group chat. And customer money had quietly paid for a home in the Bahamas worth about $16 million, put in the names of Sam's own parents. John Ray wrote it down as plainly as he could. In all his years, he had never seen such a complete failure of basic controls at any company he had ever touched. Which left just one question for a court to answer. Was this a terrible mistake or a crime? The answer came in a New York courtroom in the fall of 2023. The people who had helped Sam build FTX now sat down across from him, his engineers, and the head of Alameda, a woman named Carolyn Ellison, who had also once been his girlfriend. One by one, they had already admitted their own part and agreed to tell the court everything they knew. They described the secret code, the hidden debt, the fake safety fund, and they said Sam knew about all of it. If you're finding this useful, following the channel helps us keep pulling these stories apart, one collapse at a time. Sam's side argued that he was a smart young founder who simply lost control of something that grew too fast. Not a thief, just in over his head. The jury didn't buy it. On November 2nd, 2023, 3 years to the day after that first news story, they found Sam Bankman-Fried guilty, all 7 charges. A few months later, a judge sentenced him to 25 years in prison. The others, the ones who had told the truth to the court, received far lighter punishments. Carolyn Ellison got 2 years. Some received no prison time at all. So the story was over. The company was dead, the founder was locked away, and the money was gone. Except the money wasn't gone. And that brings us right back to the promise we made at the very start. Here's the twist that almost no video tells you. After the bankruptcy, John Ray's team spent years hunting down whatever FTX still had. Its buildings, its investments, its scattered piles of coins. And they found a lot. Enough that a court promised something almost unheard of. Customers would get 100% of their money back. In many cases, even a little extra. By 2026, more than $10 billion had already been paid back out to customers. A happy ending, right? Everyone made whole. Not quite. And the reason is buried in the fine print of how your money was measured. The rule says you get back what your account was worth on the exact day the company went bankrupt, November 11th, 2022. And on that day, crypto prices were near rock bottom. 1 Bitcoin was worth about $17,000. But the customers weren't holding dollars, most of them were holding Bitcoin and other coins. And in the years FTX sat frozen in bankruptcy, those coins climbed. By the time the checks went out, one Bitcoin was worth more than $80,000. So, the customers got their dollars back, the dollars their coins were worth on the worst possible day. Those same coins, left untouched, would be worth several times more today. They were made whole. They were not made right. Sam Bankman-Fried, for his part, is still fighting. In June of 2026, a higher court reviewed his case and left the 25-year sentence in place. His release date now sits somewhere in the 2040s. Here at Wall Street Autopsy, we look for the pattern underneath, and FTX shares a pattern with almost every collapse we cover. Every one of these stories is really about a gap between the number on the screen and the money in the room. Bernie Madoff mailed out statements full of money that was never there. Enron reported profits that were never real. FTX showed millions of people a balance that felt rock solid. And behind it sat an empty vault and one hidden email account. That's the dark lesson of FTX. In a world where your savings are just a number glowing on a phone, you don't have to steal the money to steal from someone. You only have to control the number they see. FTX kept the promise on the screen alive for 3 whole years after it had already died in the vault. And even the customers who won, the ones who got every dollar back, learned the quiet cost of that world. They were handed the frozen value of a single bad day, not the living value of what they truly owned. The number on the screen had the last word. It almost always does. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Tell us what you think. And if you want to see more Wall Street autopsies, be sure to subscribe. Bernie Madoff mailed his victims paper statements showing money that had never existed. FTX did the very same thing. It just used a screen instead of an envelope. That story is on screen right now.